Well, again, everybody, we're out here in the garage working on my diorama, and we're going to call this one the finale at this point. And I just kind of want to go over some of the things that I did up to this point to make this possible. So this is what it's going to kind of look like when I bring it all inside the house there and put it on display on there, since I can't bring my 6-foot flight deck in there at the moment. But I just want to kind of go over some of the things that I did as far as the flight deck, the ship, and also the water effects to create the Pacific Ocean, back in the 1940s during the World War II days. So we'll go ahead and take this off. We'll set it off to the side for right now. And I just kind of want to go over the flight deck here. I went ahead and masked everything off, and I went ahead and did the runway stripes and the number 6 insignia for the USS Enterprise CV-6. I had some issues with it, but I went ahead and kind of dirtied up the the area around the 6 a little bit, just to kind of give it that worn look. And so there's that. And then of course what I did was any kind of gaps I had in between where you could still see the styrofoam, I took some wood glue and I spread it into the gaps there, and I had some particle board chips that I kind of crumbled up, and I spread it all into the gaps and let it set, and then brush it all off so that you got one seamless looking wooden flight deck. So basically that's it. That's the flight deck that I'm going to display my F6F-5 Hellcat on, and that's where we stand on that. I'm going to go ahead and glue it later on, or just leave it off. I haven't decided yet at this point, off of the ship itself. But let's get to the ship itself. Pretty much the ship is 99.9% styrofoam. If you recall my last video, I had to the point where I had it all sanded down and everything to the basic form. I basically went back with the joint compound. I put one smooth skim coat on it. Once I did that, I went ahead and painted some Kills primer and sealer on the whole entire thing. Then I came back with some Krylon pewter gray gloss, and I sprayed it down a couple times, the entire area. And then of course I added a couple layers of the styrofoam here to kind of build it up a little bit, so we had a gap between the I believe this is called the forecastle part of it, not sure, but front of the deck here, so that you had a gap here between that and the flight deck that was going over it. And then I just kind of add some little features to it. I had kind of some rust marks on it, and I actually, underneath the hull itself, I kind of drew on some panel lines with some make-believe rivets and stuff like that. As far as this top part here, I don't know if you can see that in the light, but I went ahead and these are actually brad nails that I used to kind of fence off a little area here, and then I used some magnet wire to string along itself there, so that when the crew come out there, they only go so far as that's concerned. Down here, actually it's a cabinet. I've used a lot of cabinet accessories. It's kind of like a finish washer for wall cabinets, and then I went ahead and kind of glued that with some CA glue, and then I went ahead and I actually took some epoxy sculpt, and I formed some anchors on both sides of the port starboard, kind of give a little bit of some authenticity there. So that's kind of like what I did for the ship in itself. As far as the water, I went ahead and per Classic Plastics opinion, as well as HPI guy, since I kind of put it out there to kind of let you guys decide on the 3 experiments I did, I went ahead with some went ahead with the Liquitex glazing medium, instead of the Woodland Scenics Realistic Water, because this is a little bit cheaper from Michael's. And what I basically did was I poured the whole area with the Liquitex glazing medium. Now let it set up. Now when you pour it, it's going to kind of pour out white, and you let it set for 24 hours, and it'll turn that nice glossy kind of mirror looking finish, which it did in fact. Once that was done, I started with the Liquitex Gloss Super Heavy Gel, and I started building up layers as far as the front of the bow for the bow wave, and then along where the hole and the water kind of meet, I just kind of laid some of the gloss gel all down the sides, on both sides of it, and then I kind of just basically took anywhere between the tongue depressors and toothpicks and just kind of started laying out layers of a little bit of some choppiness where it's breaking the waves on either port and starboard side there. So I laid one layer down, let it dry. Of course, you know, it comes out white and then it clears again to you know, just clear. And then I went back and I used some of the Craft Smart satin acrylic paint white, and I started touching up on some of the top part of the you know, waves and stuff like that. And then I came back again the second time and I did a second layer, just kind of build it up a little bit, let that dry for 24 hours, and then went ahead and did the final with the like I say, with the Craft Smart white acrylic paint on there. And of course I added a little bit of some crests to the waves around the ship itself, not too many, just kind of give a subtle hint. You know, it's not trying to keep it as a calm, serene kind of look to it. So that's pretty much it for the kind of the water effects on there. Now as far as the backdrop is concerned, I went online and grabbed a couple of snapshot pictures of some war, during the war kind of pictures itself, where, you know, have the bombs and explosions and stuff like that. This kind of sense of what it was like back in the 1940s during, you know, Midway and all the other engagements that the USS Enterprise was involved in. And basically what I used for that was I took the pictures, I cut them out to size, and I used some of this Elmer's Craft Bond transparent double-sided gel, and I actually spread it on the back end of the pictures, and, you know, of course pressed them onto the back of the foam board, and then once that was set and everything like that, I went ahead and got a bottle of some Mod Podge and a brush, and I brushed it all on so it had a nice clear coat to keep the photographs intact and looking crisp and clear. So that's kind of like what I did for that part of the back of the display. Kind of give a little bit of some realism and kind of tell a little bit of a story too. So that's basically what I've done. And I'll go ahead and put the flight deck back on there. Kind of gear it back together again. And we'll put the plane back on there. But I really had fun with this. It was a first attempt at pretty much everything. You know, the diorama itself, the water effects, to kind of see how that would go. But all in all, this was a fun little project that I did, and I hope you enjoyed the series. And you know, until next time, I appreciate you watching and subscribing, and we got more things coming our way. So until then, thanks. Like I said again, thanks for watching and subscribing, and I hope everybody has a good day, and we'll catch y'all later. Bye.